We're on the west side of the garage. West side of the garage. We've got our Spectrum. We've got our AT&T boxes hanging on here. This is the electric meter on the west side of the garage. Power reaches the house from below grade, which is the choice method currently. This is the grounding rod, one of the grounding rods, and it's not completely buried. It's an 8-foot rod. It's supposed to be 8 feet in the ground. Good luck driving it farther into the cement like that. An electrician can come out. It may have come out. An electrician can come out and do a continuity test to make sure there's enough continuity to make it safe. It probably is. Probably is. But that's not what I have to go by. I have to go by 8-foot rod should be driven 8 feet into the ground, not 7 foot 6 inches. This garage has a pedestrian door going to the exterior. It does. It looks like it's in pretty good shape here. We got some storage. Oh, buddy, do we got some storage? Out by the air conditioning units. We're going to revisit those. I tripped a GFCI. I just like to get that reset before I forget. You haven't seen that video yet, but you're going to. Inside the garage on the west interior wall, this is the electric service panel, and it's in pretty good shape. I've seen a lot worse. Pretty good shape. This is called the dead front cover. Together it's the load center, and this is the electric service panel inside the cabinet with the dead front cover, and the assembly is the load center. So some people call it the breaker box. That's good. You can call it what you want, but these labeling, that's handwriting. It might be block, but that's handwriting. It's supposed to be printed like that, printed like that. It's not supposed to be handwritten. And they sell, but this cabinet, load center, came with stickers that you could stick on there that were pre-printed. But somebody chose to take them home for their house when they're building this house, and this is what they did. Air conditioning systems, they're properly fused. Now, you see these empty spaces over here? You can handwrite in those. You can do writing in those. You're supposed to have the manufacturer expected duplicity. And we don't have it. There's no duplicity there. So the cabinet's fastened to the wall with screws. Screws are faster and tighter. I get that. Faster and tighter, but they don't have the same shear strength as nails. You ever try to tear apart a treehouse? Nails are a lot stronger. So if this structure were to experience a tornado, an event like that, this cabinet would stand a better chance of staying safely in place if it had been nailed in place than screwed in place. And then you're not supposed to have more than 1/8 of an inch gap between the cabinet and the wall. The dead front comes on here, this cover plate comes on here, and it comes as flush to this, and you're going to have this big gap inside of there. You're not supposed to have that. You're not supposed to have that. Now this is a relatively recent development, but in the last 5 years or so, and this house is 10, so it's good to know. This house is 10 years old, it's not 5 years old. You would have had rubber boots in the last few years installed over L1 and L2 lines coming into the house. If you do not know that's hot, then you do not belong in this cabinet. I get that, but it's a safety feature, and so it being a safety feature, it gets mentioned. We have AFCI. This is GFCI, ground fault circuit interrupter, like on the hair dryers and the hotels around the sinks and those kinds of things. Ground fault. They protect you from being shocked. Yeah, it might trip and save your laptop during a thunderstorm, but that's incidental. It's about you being shocked. These right here are AFCIs, arc fault prevention interrupters. And it might trip and prevent you from getting shocked, but that's incidental. Their job is for arcs, sparks, fire. Okay? When this home was built, they were only required in the bedrooms. If this home was built today, and it wasn't, it would be required in most all of the receptacle outlets. And then up here, what we have here is it's called bundling. So this big, see this big old hole right here? See that? It's because we don't know where L1 and L2 are coming in. We don't know. So we have these holes around. See these smaller holes? That's for these wires. I'm not supposed to bring more than 2 cables into the cabinet at a time. Now, is that common? You bet. Is it in my house? Yeah, it's in my house, but my house isn't for sale. You shouldn't have to look like me. It's very common. I even have an illustration baked into the inspection report. It says this is a code violation. It's very common. So I don't know if the guy that writes little inspector books that they hand out, if he thinks it's common, I don't know. I'm writing it up as a deficiency, but again, I don't know if that's the hill you want to die on. I don't know how much it would take to get 2 cables, 2 cables, 2 cables, 2 cables. And this, again, hating to apologize for my work, but this is in that house, and that house, and that house. If it's here, it's in the whole neighborhood. This is the way the whole neighborhood's wired. This is a GFCI protected receptacle, and it doesn't have a sticker on it. A sticker? What do you mean a sticker? It doesn't have one of these ugly little stickers like I peeled all mine off at home, and you'll probably peel yours off. It doesn't have one of those stickers. If it's GFCI protected, and it is, I tested it, but the AT&T's hooked up to it, so I don't want to keep, messing with people's communication systems. So, but it's GFCI protected. It should have one of those little stickers on there. That's what it's supposed to have. And over here, and this goes back to the load center. In here, it's not opened. Not open. I don't have enough room in here to operate safely. It's not open, but this is the second ground and the bonding, probably. Rebar bonding. It's really a UFER. And that goes to the electric meter, and it's supposed to be within 6 feet, I guess. I'm short, but I'm not that short. So, anyway, that's what that is. And since I'm here, I'm going to jump a little farther forward. This is the lawn sprinkler control timer. Inside the garage west wall. See this receptacle outlet up here? And it's a single use. It's a single receptacle. It's not a duplex receptacle. That's so you can hook an appliance up to it. But 10 years ago, that wasn't required to be GFCI, and it's not. But today, it would be GFCI. Back to the control timer. We do not have instructions. We do not have a care and use manual. The zones, the stations are not labeled. So far, I haven't seen for the lawn sprinkler system. Let's go back out here for a moment. There it is. That is your weather sensor. That guy right there is your weather sensor. He should be sticking up a little more level. He should. Sorry, man. Okay. They gotta put their stuff somewhere. I mean, they're trying to sell the house, so it always ends up in the garage. I keep trudging across it. We're gonna move one more thing. Okay, this ceiling right here. Should be GFCI protected. You can see that. I don't know if you can see that up there. Looks like we've had some water issues up here. And we're going to put an infrared camera on it and see if we can get any moisture markers. We are. But something happened. So, what? What happened there? That's a good question. Moving on around. If there was a fire in the garage, this door might be fire rated, but is the fire going to come in? I think I'll just come on in here a little bit. Hi, Mr. Fire. You always make me feel so warm and welcome in here. There should be a self-closing spring on this so the door stays closed. I get it. I took mine off. I'm carrying all my groceries in. Door. I get it. Everybody does educated decisions to do foolish things, but this door is supposed to have a self-closing spring on it. It's just this. This is the doors. This is a panel door. It's a wooden door with a metal frame car entry door. And they're heavy, so it's going to sag a little bit right there. Really don't know how to get around that. Every one of them. My old wooden door did, because they're heavy. So we're coming along here. This is the control button. It's not supposed to be closer to the garage floor or door threshold than 5 feet, and it's not. It's high enough. It's also supposed to have a warning notice here. A warning notice. A little picture of a kid getting squashed. So you got instructions in case you want to squash your kid, I guess. But anyway, you're supposed to have a warning notice there. It's nice and quiet. It's not GFCI protected. Coming on along. That's how I test the safety reverse. I do not do a block test. I'm telling you right now. We got this bottom that's loose. Now this is interesting. These guys, that's your optic sensor. They're usually hooked up into these guys, and they're not supposed to be any farther, like this was, any farther from the garage floor than 6 inches. There's a maximum height for these. There's not a minimum height. And these are installed directly on the floor. Now the only concern I have about this, I guess, I mean I don't even know how to process this really. It's the first time I've ever seen this. But see these water stains? Is that going to get into your electronics? Probably. Water's been getting in here some kind of way. Those stains didn't happen by themselves. So anyway, it's something to take into consideration. You got the loose threshold gasket. There's supposed to be a handle inside of these doors. A handle so that you can decommission it. You have the emergency handle, pull handle there. You got the courtesy lights. Got all those things. Those are nice. Those are nice that you got those. But if you pull that handle, how are you going to open the doors? A lot of people use this bar. That's what I use at home. But that's not what it says. That's not what it says on the instructions. The instructions say handle. Now, inside of the doors, on each corner, there should be a spring tension notice on each corner. There's something over here. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Yeah, spring tension notice. This one's here. The other one's not over there. And then here, that's the door, the manual door lock. As long as the automatic door operation is in use, you're not supposed to have the door lock being serviceable. There should have been a bolt stuck in it or something. It should have been, or sometimes they take them loose and they spin them out so that they won't work. Because you could close the door, you could lock the door, somebody else could come in and try to open the door with the automatic feature, and it would squirrel up your door. It'd bend it. It'd cause damage to your door. So that's why those are supposed to be decommissioned. So what do we have here? This lock's not decommissioned. What do we have here? We do not have a safety notice, if you will, an illustration of a child being squashed. We do not have a safety notice. We do not have a pull handle. We do not have spring tension notice on that corner. We do not have a safety notice here. And of course it's not GFCI protected. And we got the bottom rail here is kind of messed up. And that's what's going on with the door. Some of these things might mean more to you than others. I like my door lock. But again, this isn't my house and my house isn't for sale. That's what we have with the door. GFCI in the garage. We don't have it on the ceiling. We don't have it over there. Lawn sprinkler system. The zones are not labeled and we do not have instructions. The electric service panel. What do we have? We've got bundling. We got bundling. It's screwed into place. It doesn't have the protective covers. And that's about it, actually. Oh, no. We got hand labeling and we do not have duplicity.